lagging very heavily. So I want to try one more thing. So hang tight. I'll be right back. Okay, let me know if you can hear me now and see the charts. Yes or no? All right, let's see if it works. Let's see if it works. Type in if you have a problem. Type in if you have a problem. So, setting up a gold trade on building permits, just a simple breakout, 829.59, 829.59. The bracket is 8. I've got two targets. I've got a target of 4 and a target of 8. I'll use a target of 12 on my second target. And I think what I'll do is go to 6 and 12. You know, we're seeing, well, you know what? I'm going to do what the DMM says. This is a really small mover. 4, but I'll do 12 on my second target. Stop is 10. And target 1 stop move. If it hits my first target, I'll move my stop to break even -2. That's my gold trade. Account warnings are off. I'm using the same version of the software today that you all are using. And I want to say label is gold. I want to welcome everybody on YouTube. We had a little bit of trouble with the stream, so thanks for joining us. And we got started a little bit late. So we are here and we are trading. So going to check the bracket width by setting the time on the software to 0. Apply it and OK it. See what our width is on our brackets by enabling a trade that's set to 0. And then as soon as gold calculates, as long as I remember to set the time to 0, right? 0.2959. Once it calculates, we should get our brackets. Okay. And then I'm going to spread them in a way that I can manage the trade. And then I'm going to put the time back to 8:29:59. All right, 8:29:59. And I'm going to trade this. It's been trading pretty well by itself. When it trades by itself, recognizing that it hasn't traded by itself in a couple of months. Okay. So there's certainly extra risk because we don't have very, very recent behavior to tell us what we can expect. But I think we've got enough previous reports that we can hang our hat on something. Okay. Secondly, like I said, I'll keep my news off to the side. And we also have Canada CPI, which I would not trade with real money. It just is an extremely difficult, uneven, inconsistent report. That's been its history for quite a while. So I'll just do a sim on Canada CPI just to see how it's behaving. And it is a trap trade, all right? Canada CPI is a trap trade. And our tiers are going to be 18 and 28 with a stop of 20. 18 and 28. So tier 1 is 18 ticks. Tier 2 is 28. The time of the event is 8:30 for everybody out there. I'm using the newer trap trade software. So I do my time a little bit differently, but you all do 8:30 time of event. Prep seconds is 5. If you're going to trade it. And like I said, I'm not really willing to put real money on it. I don't particularly care for it as a breakout trade. I don't think it gives us enough. The real issue is just inconsistency on the report. So with the trap trade, we're expecting the price to reverse after the fill. Tiers of 18 and 28. Trigger at 8:30 with a 5-second prep. And that's how I'm going to do the trap trade. With the trap trade, you have to make sure your chart is wide enough so you see all the buttons: break even, close outer tier. Sorry, break even, close the trade, adjust, cancel outer tier, combine orders. You want to be able to see all the buttons when you trade a trap trade. The idea on a trap trade is I expect price to change direction pretty quickly after the fill. Okay, pretty quickly. Now, I think what I'd like to do is I want to redo this video because this video is just a mess of errors because the stream wasn't working. Welcome everyone to Building Permits and Housing Starts, the Pro Trade Room Plus of 10-minute trades. I'm Lee Goldstein, the trading director. Please trade carefully. All trades are for educational purposes. Okay, so we've got ourselves a gold breakout for building permits, housing starts, a live trade triggering at 8:29:59. We've got a bracket of 8. I've got targets. Targets can be anywhere between 4 and 20. 4 and 20 years ago. Nobody knows that song. Stephen Stills, 4 and 20. Amazing song. Anyway, profit target 4 and 20. Target 1 stop move, break even -2, and a stop of 10. That's how I'm trading gold on this report. We're going to check our time sync by going to the website. Time is and my computer is in sync. So thanks everybody for watching on YouTube. Really appreciate it. Hit that like button. Hit the like button. All right. So anybody trade the Australia rate statement last night? Did anybody trade Australia last night? It was actually, if you didn't cancel, it was a very good little trade. You could have had a profit. Now the gold market just opened at 820. That's why you're seeing a little bit of gold volatility. Larry, I would guess you made some money on that trade, that you were patient. Ah, okay. Sometimes it's delayed, those reports. I did watch it. I did not trade it live, but I recorded it. So gold is responding to the gold open. Here is the most recent building permits, housing starts trade from December. Now, I'm trying to think. Let me see what else was trading. That's not December, so hang on. I knew something was crazy. Here's December. Left side was gold. Right side was Canada CPI. What's interesting is building permits and Canada CPI trade together quite a bit. US building permits and Canada CPI often trade together. Now in December, it started as a very good trap trade because it reversed really quickly. The building permits was mediocre. You could see it was not a great follow through initially. Not a great follow through initially. Canada on the trap has a very quick fill and reverse, which does happen. Hit the first target right away. So then it was just a question of how you managed the trade, whether or not you took a profit or didn't. And then building permits eventually moved in the direction of the trade and had a good follow through. It took more than a minute. Now that's the gold open. That's creating that volatility. Gold on my indicators, net change display, which is a free indicator from NinjaTrader. I like to watch gold on points to give me an idea of how many dollars up or down gold is since 6 p.m. last night. Gold, pretty bearish. When I woke up this morning, the markets were pretty bearish. And then let's look at another building permits in November. All right, here's November. left side on gold, trading by itself. Building permits, takes its time to fill on gold. Might cancel that. If we get a response like that today, I might cancel it. That's not much of a response. That should have been canceled. Because it was in sim, we left it on to see what happened. NQ did not have a great follow through. We do try the NQ on a lot of 8:30 news. Building permits would have been a cancel in November, definitely. And then October, in October, you got gold on the left. And again, it can take its time sometimes. Pretty slow response. Mixed news. I don't want to see mixed news on building permits and housing starts. I want to see them both the same. In other words, I want to see more starts, more permits, or less starts, less permits for generally a better result. I probably would have canceled October also. If you don't get a decent burst, you don't have to wait. And then Canada CPI, I've got one more in October. Last month, Canada CPI, I moved my stop to break even, and that kind of took all the profit out of the trade. So sometimes, you know, trade management, I don't have the recording in October, so can't show it, sorry. We're getting close anyway. So we've got our gold trade on the left. We've got our Canadian trap trade on the right. And then we will be back 12:30 for the 20-year bond auction. We do have a webinar at 11 on earnings and futures. And I don't have the link this morning. I'd have to get it. So let's pay attention to the trade. And then I'll show you what happened last night with the Australia rate statement. Normally I have a trade room for that. And everybody's kind of under the weather around me. And I kind of wanted to start the week off not exhausted. But I would have had a good trade on that trade. I would not have canceled, because I just have looked at a lot of Canadian, a lot of Australia rate statements, and I know that sometimes it has a slight delay on the reaction to the news. The charts also, they looked pretty good for the initial short. I had already shut down and gone back to bed before the reversal. All right, we have about 35 seconds. All right, so our bracket will show up about a second before the news. There's our Canada brackets, our traps. And I don't like that kind of move on building permits. I do not like the news result because it's mostly positive, which pushes gold the wrong way. I'm going to combine my orders, but I think it's a stop out. It looks like it's trying to push a little bit. Come on. The Canadian report, it would have filled both tiers. Now you're waiting for a reversal on Canada, waiting for a reversal on Canada. And then building permits. I combined both my orders. I would like to just get out. It almost looks like it wants to reverse off of that opening with gold, but it could get, look. So building permits didn't work. The Canadian trade is still going. Canadian trade still going. Waiting to see if there's a reversal. Canada CPI did not reverse. And usually you should have a reversal by now. Yep, it'll follow, as Chantal's saying, it usually follows the other markets. But it's not a strong trade to begin with. Not a strong trade to begin with. Now look, building permits, that's the first one in 8 months that didn't work. All the ones previously worked other than being canceled. All of them worked other than being canceled. And one of the problems for the direction for gold is we had positive news and it tends to push gold down, and gold was pretty bearish also. So it filled us long, unfortunately. Let's take a, let me get this news fixed. But this Canadian trade, because of what I know about this trade, I would definitely combine the orders into one, move them as close to break even as possible. But no, I would not expect this Canadian trade to work out. As we said, our experience is when it doesn't reverse quickly, it doesn't reverse. It'll follow the rest of the markets. So building permits were positive, which just helps to push gold down, unfortunately. Positive, housing starts positive, Canada CPI negative, just one move in one direction. And now gold is getting a change in direction. That doesn't help us very much. Let's look at the video. Canada, I would say, is probably a lost cause, and I would just close that trade out. I mean, it's always possible that it could eventually reverse, but not from our experience. Let's take a look at the video and see what happened here on the gold trade. Just didn't work. We didn't get any follow through. I mean, honestly, it's not a great report. That's the reality. It's not a great report. So said that in the very beginning. You have to be willing. If you're willing to trade some of the great reports, you know the reality. If you trade the best of the best, then you're going to do better than if you trade some of the ones that are not that great. And building permits, yeah, it worked previously, but not very much profit. Probably would have been smarter to just leave it alone. All right. I want to thank everybody for watching us on YouTube. Next time we stream, we'll have a winner. Every trade is not a winner. So thanks everybody on YouTube, and we'll see you next week. We stream once every week. So thank you very much for watching. And let me